Okay, thank you so much, Fazil. And thankfully, we are in workshop on evolution of mediation, ADR instead of village support. So, the chief guest of today's workshop, Honorable Justice Ahmed Soel and Honorable Justice Mohammad Anadul Haq Ajad, Senior Advocate Ben Goswami sir, and Dr. Jers and every participants present out here. Today, basically, I would be talking on the mediation in perspective of Nepal, basically. So first of all, when it comes to our mind, like why mediation is very, very important and why are we talking on the mediation? Because you see that ADR can provide increased access to justice for citizens. And perhaps you see like for the resolution of disputes, they may not be regard themselves have like received the justice, but may simply consider that they have attained the more modest goal of settling the dispute. The mediation in the context of Nepal, we have achieved the ambition that basically this is for attaining the more modest goal of settling the disputes. So very wonderfully in the context of Nepal nowadays, mediation has been more, prolonged because in even you see like different courts and even Supreme Court of Nepal, after like every benches where the court hearing is taking place, like behind we have posted a very big banner saying that please follow mediation rather than moving on to the case and the long proceedings that might come afterwards. So this is what nowadays even the various courts, even the parties, they are moving for the perspective of mediation because this is very, very, very important. And at the same time, basically in the context of Nepal, mediation has evolved for different scopes of mediation. Talking some of them, then there are like civil and family contractual disputes, the court referred cases for mediation, and also the community level issues. And that's how the mediation in Nepal is increasing. So now, dear participants, I would like to take you back to the Ottoman eras where there used to be no courts, no community mediation, no court-referred cases, and also the no personnel for suggesting mediation. So basically, you can imagine the scenario, how can the disputes used to settle by them. So before there used to be violence, the fight and the conflict resolution was very tough because there was not the formal mechanism, and also there was not ADR. That means there is also no mediation. But later on, what happens was like people started the importance of mediation because you see there are many hajads of mediation for sure that might take too many long time, and also that's not very cost effective as Dr. George has already explained more about the benefits of mediation. Yes, similarly in Nepal also mediation, for the perspective of mediation, we have actually analyzed and utilize the mediation for maintain and restore the relationship among the parties basically. And it is also, you see, disputes are very cost efficient. I would say it's not just only effective, but it's actually efficient because you see in mediation, the parties can control the consent of the agreement, and which is the best part. And I would like to repeat this point because this is very important because in Bangladesh also and Sri Lanka, as in India, Dr. Joel has already mentioned that this is one of the best fruit for the mediation because parties themselves can control the consent of the agreement, and also the mediator, they manages the process, and the best part is mediation is more confidential, and also the best prospect is impartial for sure, and that's how you see that can create the peaceful communities in Nepal, and we are actually advocating for mediation. And even in strategic plan, we have perceptions about mediation. I think not only in Nepal, but in Asia Pacific, there is some false perception about mediation, because they think that mediation is only suited for the small disputes. They don't believe that, okay, for larger disputes, for company disputes, mediation is not suitable. But actually, what happens is, like in Nepal, mediation is also suitable for the small disputes. So that is what we must remember. And also, for example, another false perception that we have in Nepal and also in other Asia Pacific is that there is no place for lawyers in mediation. That's completely false, because lawyers can also be the mediators. In fact, lawyers can be the best mediators. So that is why there are some legal advisors. They have certain misconception about the mediation that I want to clarify, and that is, like some things that legal advisors are unfamiliar with the mediation, which is not true, because in Nepal, what we have practiced is that while framing so many contracts, we have kept the clause where first solution for the settlement of the dispute is mediation. So now another false perception that I want to highlight, because we have very limited time, so I just talk on the last one, false perception about the mediation in the context of Nepal, is that lawyers basically perceive that if we move on to the mediation, then there will be the loss of income. So there will not be the income source, so we have to move on to the case so that we can generate the income. But that's really false, because you see, though it is cost effective, we can generate income by taking so many mediation cases, isn't it? So that is why we must understand this important perspective of mediation. Having said this, I say that mediation is very efficient process for a dispute settlement mechanism. But there is also certain criteria, certain qualifications for the mediators to be the mediator in the context of Nepal. The mediators training. So mediators training is one of the most important thing. And one of the recent articles that Harvard University had just published is with regards to this mediation training. That means mediation training must be completed. One, random people who do not know about mediation, who do not know about the techniques and the procedures of mediation, is not capable for taking part of the mediation. So that is why there are certain qualifications for the mediators. And also we have the mediation council in the context of Nepal. In Bangladesh also we have different mediation council. And also BIMF is also advocating for mediation. Similarly in Nepal, we have registered mediators, and they are actually trained, and we have also the mediation council. And that's what is the most important part, is that mediators qualified to be qualified, they must be very impartial and neutral. If they are biased, if they they want favoritism and representation, that's not entertained in the context of Nepal. So this is the most important things that I want to talk about. And also all the participants out here, I want to clarify some of the important topics for today, as we are having the workshop on evolution of mediation. So focusing on the ADR instead of village courts, right? So we need to encourage the process of mediation. And like the role of mediators, as I see in the participants also, there are many trained mediators out there. So we must need to know the important role of mediators. So in Nepal also we have formulated one important framework, and we have also different legal frameworks working on, which I will be talking on. So first thing is the facilitation of dialogues. So what we are actually doing is in Nepal, while giving the training to the mediators, upcoming mediators, we are basically focusing on giving them the training that can actually develop the skills for facilitating the dialogue within the parties. Because disputing parties are already they are in conflict. So we must remember that, because they are not in peaceful state. So conflicting situation is there, so the most important part is the facilitation of dialogue. So that means you need to help with clarifying the issues to both the parties, and also you need to remain neutral, and that's the most important thing. And I'm repeating it time and again, because as I already stated that recently in the Even in the New York Journal and Harvard University Journal published, they are actually prioritizing on neutrality and the prospects of impartiality for the mediation. So now, give me some few minutes, so let me allow to talk about some important legal frameworks in the context of Nepal that we are diving in. The first one is the Mediation Act, 2068. And so now I'll just take 5 minutes to complete what's there in the Mediation Act. So basically, if you see the sections out there, from section 4 to 23, we have different important prospects with regards to the mediation and the important prospects of mediation in the context of Nepal. The first one is the section 4 talks about the voluntary process. So we do not confine, we do not mandate the parties to please come up and mediation, it's mandatory. We do not do that. But what we do is we actually, in Nepal, what we do is we actually highlight the importance of mediation, the goodwill of mediation, the benefits of mediation. So that's what we do. So that's simply a voluntary process. If the parties wants to follow the mediation process, and that's the best part that we get to. And the second one is sometimes court-referred for mediation, and the provision is actually highlighted in the Section 6 of the Mediation Act in the context of Nepal. And regarding the mediator's appointment, I already talked before as well, but typically talking as per the article, then we have this Section 9 of the Mediation Act, which talk about this mediator appointment. And the important framework that I already stated is with regards to the different principles that underline the mediation itself. And that the first one is the Section 16 talks about the principle of confidentiality. And the principle of confidentiality is very important. That's how we can link it with trustworthy precedents. So that is what is very, very important. And the most important part while talking about mediation is the Section 18 actually talks about the mediation agreement. So we frame the mediation agreement and we make sure that both the parties have their issues already settled there in the agreement, and we proceed with the legal status, which we are delving on in the Section 20 of Mediation Act of Nepal. We have also certain code of conduct that mediators must follow with regards to mediation. So now, for the last minute, I will be talking on the Mediation Council, like how Mediation Council is, regulating and training the mediators. The first one is maintenance of register. Why this is important is that the special framework for mediators and the number of mediators that we have, not only the mediators, I would say the trained mediators. So the list of trained mediators is also very, very important. So we are maintaining the register for that. And this is actually important for promoting the ethical practices. So as the first speaker of today has also talked about the importance of mediation, and also he has a little bit touched on this community mediation as well. In the context of Nepal, being very brief, the important framework for this is regarding community mediation is used for local and rural disputes, and they are handled by the local centers, and sometimes it is being supported by NGOs as well. So these are the things that the context of mediation, and in the context we are following this kind of frameworks. And also, if you want more details on how mediation is taking place and how the court itself, how Supreme Court itself is highlighting on the mediation part, then you can simply contact me. I can help you out with what are the important frameworks for the mediation in the context of Nepal. So as we are running out of time, lastly, what I want to say is that mediation, it's very important, and mediation is also backed up by different international framework. So if you talk about Bangladesh, if you talk about Sri Lanka, and the India, and the Hong Kong, China, and all the Asia Pacific, we have been guided with this UNCITRAL model law on international commercial mediation. So I would like to, I would like you to take a note on that, because you might have, then after this presentation, you can simply go on to the on-citral model on international commercial mediation, because basically this is flourishing even in Bangladesh, even in Nepal. So you can have the overview of how this ancestral model law international commercial mediation is actually flourishing, how is it working in different countries like South Asia and Asia Pacific. So after the presentation, you can simply download that file and see the current mechanism, that how mediation is actually mobilizing, how it is functioning, and how it is actually moving forward. And also, as Dr. George has highlighted a little bit on Singapore Convention, but what I want to say at last is that please also look up on this Singapore Convention on Mediation, because this has the highest prospects of that I already highlighted, the importance, the actual thematic prospects of mediation and why it is increasing. So that's all that I want to tell about the mediation in the perspective of Nepal, and I think we are right on time. So thank you so much for this opportunity, the organizers and everyone. So now we have last 3 minutes. So if anybody has a question with regards to the mediation practice or anything with regards to the prospects of Nepal, then I would like to open the floor for the questions. Thank you. If there is any. So you can simply write the question. Yes, yes, sir.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No,
If not,
question.
no questions. So do we have time? Shall I go forward or shall I end here?
Yes, up to 3 minutes. More
After
2 minutes. More 2 minutes.
Okay, then I have 2 minutes. Then definitely I would be talking on the important derivation of the mediation program. Then, in the context of Nepal, while designing a certification program, we have actually come across with the balancing approach, and we have talked about it as a balancing process where many values are implicated, and the need to provide the participants to prove with the quality mediation services, and also to maintain the diversity in mediation with the unique techniques that the mediator background has, and also the need to shape appropriately the direction of a rapidly evolving field. And also the important thing is, as I was just given 10 minutes, though I want to highlight something on this important prospect, the modern approach on this mediation in the context of Nepal, is that the balancing the interest phenomenon, and which is the important values, and it's really a daunting task, but fearing that appropriate balance cannot be achieved by a certification program. But however, the failure to attempt to develop certification cannot be only applicants the mediation community's responsibility for participants. So somehow balancing this interest, we might miss a valuable opportunity to steer the growth of the mediation field in the direction of even increasing quality and innovation. And so that is why they are actually. It's 11:30. So I think the time is over. But summing up, the development standards have been developed. So I think mediation and community mediation, the administration of the mediation certification system is going on, and we are actually moving on for this. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience listening, and I hope to